Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I myself seem to step on. It is November 10th. That's right, November 10th. It's a Tuesday. I'm so excited to be coming to you guys. I want to talk to you about, by the way, this is episode number 185. I was just trying to find what episode number it was. This is episode 185, and I was thinking back about when I started, and one of the hardest things I had to do, and even now that I keep working on, is what my daily schedule looks like. I want to talk to you guys about an easy way to schedule your day, okay? I think that this will be helpful and maybe give you an idea of, how you could go about scheduling your, voiceover work day, okay? Let's do it. This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica. All right, so we are back, and today we're going to be talking about VO scheduling your day. What exactly should you be doing? Especially when you're just starting out. It's easy to say, hey, I just want to do voiceover work. But I think that's a challenge, especially when you don't have voiceover work. Right? When you don't have any voiceover work, what are you doing? And on top of that, there is what I like to call the roller coaster effect. And this is an effect that comes when you work really hard on marketing and you get a bunch of business. And then while you're trying to do that business, like finish that work, you don't have time for anything else and your marketing goes down, right? Because your workload goes up. And then when you finish the work, you have no more business in the queue and you have to, spend all this time working hard again on, building up your marketing. So it's a constant roller coaster. So I want to talk to you guys today about over the years how I've, what kind of schedule I've put together and how I think that this could help you in scheduling your day. All right. So I like to think of my day and the schedule like blocks of time. All right. And it can be challenging when you think of it in blocks of time because, a lot of us like to work until we finish something. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to always do because the reality is there's a lot of things that we're going to dive into that we just can't finish, in one day or one sitting. And we have to make sure that we don't get stuck going down the rabbit hole. So to me, this idea of block scheduling is super, super beneficial. What this scheduling means is basically we're going to block out specific time amounts to work on very focused or narrowed types of actions. So that if we schedule an hour to do this and an hour to do that and 2 hours to do this, for example, if you have 4 hours to work at night or, in the morning or during the day, depending on whether you are a full-time voice actor or you're not. I imagine a lot of you are like me when I first started at working a full-time job or you're working a part-time job or maybe you've been laid off and you are trying to make this your full-time gig anyways, or you're retired or wherever you are in your VO journey, right? You might have an hour or you might have 10 hours. So this block schedule idea is just what I said. It's basically the first part is picking specific blocks of time and then assigning actions to those blocks of time. All right. And then, of course, you must write this down so that you have it written down. I find writing things down not only makes it more real, but it also keeps you accountable, right? Because when you write something down, it's out of your mind. It's actually on paper or on your computer. It's visible. It becomes its own process, its own system, its own entity, if you will. So it's very important to write these things down. So let's go ahead and dive into some things that I think you can put on your block scheduling. All right. So the first thing that you must incorporate in your block scheduling, okay, is marketing. All right. So marketing must always be done every single day. All right. Within that marketing, there must be a series of actions you take in order to market your business. And this must happen within your block scheduling every single day, no matter what, no matter how busy you are, it must happen. Okay. Because again, what we're trying to accomplish with this whole schedule and our marketing is consistency. We want consistency. We don't want the roller coaster. So by block scheduling an hour, okay, to 2 hours even of marketing, you are going to make sure that you are daily consistently putting out feelers to get work. Now, inside the marketing, there can be different types of marketing. And my recommendation is you follow the same suit with different actions that you do on a daily basis that you know lead to an outcome. Now, I've talked a lot about lead measures and lag measures. I just basically finished about 2 weeks ago my Voiceover Marketing 101 course. How to get voiceover clients is by far the best course I've ever created. Not trying to sell you guys on a course during the podcast because you know me, I don't like to really sell during my podcast, but it really is a great course. And I think it would really help you really focus in your effort and time because of the tracking, because of the actual daily task list and things that you do daily. The scheduling of that within your block time, whether you schedule an hour or 2 hours, can be really helpful and beneficial and also help you know where to go, which by the way, also points out that you must have a plan. You must have a plan for each of these, right? So the marketing, you have your plan during this specific block time that you've allotted, all right? Let's say you allot an hour a day. Okay, let's say you have 4 hours. You have 4 hours a day to work, or a night. Like me, when I first started, I had about 4 to 5 hours I could work a night, from 10 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. So you block off that schedule. All right, so you got an hour for marketing. Now we have 3 more hours. So what are we going to do? The next hour, all right, let's say that you do voiceover work, okay, for that next hour. So the next hour is dedicated to voiceover work. Now, let's say you don't have voiceover work to do. Then this is a great time to spend that hour doing practice work for reading. And by the way, practice work is wonderful. Record that work because it's a wonderful way to add samples to your marketing plan so that you can put out samples for people to listen to. All right, to send people samples on social media and, through email or whatever. It's a way for you to build up your library of samples to use. And a lot of websites, you need lots of samples anyways. So if you don't have any voiceover work during that hour, use that hour for samples, for reading or making samples. Now, real quick, I want to point out that when you're first starting out, it's going to take you a lot longer, of course, to do things because you're just learning, and that's perfectly fine. Meaning that, for example, part of your marketing plan might be to, now I'm kind of digressing here, but I want to bring this up. Part of your marketing plan might be to audition for, like, example, ACX, which I highly recommend, or offer audiobooks. So that might take you, like, for example, if you decide to do 3 to 4 auditions, that might take you an hour. Right? That might take you an hour to do, in which case that's your hour for marketing. And then in which case you might want to set 2 hours for marketing. Like, 1 hour for doing auditions and then 1 hour for sending out emails, doing buyer requests, sending out proposals, et cetera, on the different freelance websites that are available, or doing auditions on pay-to-play sites wherever you are. But I think, maybe, when you're first starting out, 2 hours actually, now that I'm thinking about it, 2 hours is probably the best. All right. And then you'll have 1 hour to record your voiceovers or your samples or your practice work, okay? And then the last hour, and this is super important, and I know this is going to sound a little strange, but the last hour that you have, or wherever you want to, these hours can be set up, whenever order you want. You need to leave an hour for strategic thinking. Okay, now listen, this is, I think, one of the major reasons of the success I've had is from strategic thinking, meaning that you are setting aside time specifically to think about how to grow your business, how to add, or to solve problems, the overall, entrepreneur side of your business. That's what strategic thinking is. Most of us only think like an entrepreneur once in our whole entire business, and that was when we had the idea to create the business. Like we thought about, what if I could actually do this? What if I could make money this? What if I could live a life like this, like you dreamed? And your voiceover aspirations, your vision, your dream, your business was born. And it all came from that entrepreneurial spirit that flooded within you. And then what happened then is we kind of stuck our head down and got to work. Okay. But we need to make sure that we are feeding that part of us too. Every business needs an entrepreneur. Every business needs a worker. Every business needs a manager. We are all three of those. We wear all three of those hats at least to start. So it's important that we feed each part. So for that hour block, it's important that you use that time to solve any issues, any challenges you might have. Perfect example, I told you needed a marketing plan. Well, strategic planning is figuring out what that marketing plan is. Okay? Figuring out, hey, where am I going to go and, put my services? What am I going to, how am I going to do XYZ? How am I going to do this? Where do I plan this? I need to write down this. Like these are all things that need to go within your strategic thinking block. Okay. And not in your marketing block or not in your voiceover block or auditioning block. Now, I just set this up for you to be 4 hours. If you have 8 hours, then you can see how you can start to expand on these items. And you could, when the time comes, to add. Like, for example, maybe you are trying to build your website. So maybe you put an hour or two aside to working on building your website. Whether you want to do it yourself, you want to pay someone, but you're going to need to put some time aside for that. Now, remember, schedules can change too. It's not like you have to do everything written in stone. When I first started all of this, and I don't know why, maybe it was because of school, maybe it was because I was a teacher for so long too, so I'd always been regulated by such a hard-lined schedule time that, I always felt like when I put a schedule down, it doesn't change. I can't change it, or I can't change goals, or I can't change things. And I think that's a big misconception and a problem we face is that we can change things. You can change goals. You can change times. You can change it all right, when it is necessary. So in this particular case, putting down a block time like working on your website, you can then change that later on if you are at a place with your website that you finish, because after you finish your website or whatever, you can always continue to build your website. I've always said if you're going to have a voiceover website, honestly, if you honestly want to have a voiceover website that actually does anything for your business, you've got to actually build it out. It can't be a voiceover website that just sits there as one page and it's like a pretty, online business card. It's got to be more than that. It's got to have a blog. It's got to have extra content. It's got to have more than one page where you're giving, not just information about you as a voice artist, but maybe, tools that businesses can use. Maybe you're targeting specific businesses on different pages. If you're a small video production company, here's some tools for you on this page. Here's how voiceovers can help you. Here's how you can use them to your advantage to increase your ROI. If you are a real estate business or realtor, on this page, here's some things that can help you, and here's how voiceovers can help you through walkthroughs, especially now and everything during COVID and all that jazz. Do you see how you're building out a lot more than just the bare bones of something. And you need to block your time accordingly. All right? You might block an hour for social media. You might block an hour to learn. Like you might block an hour literally, or 30 minutes. You might block 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour to sit down and learn about something. Learn about some voiceover acting, watch a course, watch some videos, listen to a podcast, right? I mean, that's a part of this whole thing is learning more about your DAW. Okay, trying to, again, just find more things that you can do to grow your business. Maybe you're going to learn, maybe you're going to put up a new gig. Maybe you're going to put up a new offering somewhere, join a new website, right? You can block this time. But I think really quickly, going back to, I think you get the idea of block scheduling and how beneficial it is for you. But to go back to the beginning, the 3 things I really think that you must do, all right, is you must leave time for strategic thinking. That has to be really important. And no one really talks about this in voiceover or in business or in artistic businesses in general, right? Because that's usually not something we do. We usually work on our craft. We're usually working on making the product better, but never working on making our businesses better. But the business itself, the running of the business is the number one reason why we will succeed or why we will fail. If we can run a business well, we will succeed. If we can't run a business well, we will not succeed. It's important that you spend time every day thinking strategically about your business, how to solve challenges, how to grow, dreaming about what could be and putting that down on paper and having an idea pad and, working through challenges, in order for you to fix them and finding innovative ways to solve those problems that you have. That's so vital to your success. You also must block time for marketing. You just got to do it. You've got to do it every single day. Okay, every single day. And of course, you need to block time to actually do the voiceover work or record. Those three things right now are a must. As you grow your business, you're going to find that there are some other things like, working the back ends of things. Like, for example, when it's time to do finances and things like that, you'll need to block time for that. But that's not an everyday occurrence. All right. That's more of a monthly occurrence or biweekly or whatever. But I find that a lot of the tracking I do and stuff all revolves around marketing. The marketing part is my tracking. All right. And the schedule is what decides when I do and what I do. Does that make sense? So use the block scheduling to your advantage. All right. This is so important to help you schedule your business, your voiceover business for success. Because as long as you have that schedule going, you are going to be able to take the right actions at the right times on a daily basis, and consistency is success's best friend. All right. Write that down. Consistency is success's best friend. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. All right. That's true right there. Consistency is it. Consistency leads to success. Without it, we fail. Without it, we fall into nothingness. People forget about us. So be consistent. Being like that. Be consistent. Be consistent. I don't know where that just popped into my head. I had to be weird at least one part of the podcast today. All right, you guys. I think I've nailed that point home. Please take scheduling very seriously. It can really turn your business around. If you get an opportunity, I would be so much obliged. I was going to say obliged, but I'd be very happy if you left a review on iTunes or Spotify. Or a lot of people have been finding the podcast all over the place. So I'm very excited on a bunch of different platforms. It makes me happy. And thank you so much. If you are looking to increase that marketing game of yours, like we mentioned earlier, check out that Voiceover Marketing 101, how to get clients. I'll have a link in the description here, and you can always check out VOsJourney.com for that. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. All right, my email is anthonypicaproductions@gmail.com. All right, you guys, thank you so much, as always, for listening. It's a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon. All right, you guys, peace.